Hi, welcome to Live Vedanta, a podcast about simple living and high thinking. If this is the first time you're joining us, welcome. We love to end 2024 and start 2025 with you. If you want to catch up where we've been this season, on the season of courageous caregiving, which applies to all of us at any stage of life, check the show notes. We have a link that'll take you to the previous episode and right from the beginning. For those of you who are seeking more of a live experience, Parenting Culture takes place live on Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern. And you can find more information on that at chinmayaniagara.com under communities. Okay, so in this episode, we're focusing on cultivating Parahita, or empathy, through active listening, active learning, and active living. So let's tune in on what Vivekji has to share.
Hariam, and greetings from Niagara Falls. On Saturday, I was staying at someone's home, and I needed to get to our ashram in Cleveland. And so I turned my old school GPS on. You remember Garmin? With its stand and so on. And so when I put the address in to go, it couldn't detect my satellite. And so I was driving, but I wasn't confident about where I was going. So there's a reference for you. Here's another comparison. Last week, I'd shared with all of you a great map, an auxiliary map for parenting culture is Bhaja Govindam. Maybe we can study this next year in parenting culture. In verse 8, our guide is encouraging us to reflect on who are we, who are those of the same generation, younger generation, and so on. But in the next verse, that is verse 9, direction is given. Satsangatve nisangatva. By being exposed to rightness, it leads to security. I'm giving you these comparisons of driving without a GPS and driving with a GPS. Thinking versus thinking that is directed. In our course, almost everyone is a parent. Everyone certainly is a caregiver. Now, parenting and directed parenting are different, like having a GPS, like having a guide. This is the value add of our course, of this space. And this year, we are reflecting on the ideal teacher. The ideal teacher to teach us about directed parenting, that is Sri Rama. He is an icon of fearlessness. Often fear slows us and stops us from following through with what is right. Right for us, right for whom we're caring for. And we are learning about the ideal student. That is Sri Vibhishana. He wants to be like Sri Rama. This is almost like a finality for him. I don't want anything else in life. I just want to be fearless. With all of this set up so that we're clear about why we gather, last week we took up the value of dama, or discipline. Dama is typically associated with one's physical personality. And so relating to the body, I'd shared 3 practices. That is to ignore the body, to serve the body, and to associate the body. Now, most of these suggestions are for us to practice. I did share to try to get your child, your children involved also. Now, an example or a suggestion for how dama can be encouraged for our children, it is to try to create structure in the life of your child so that there's an unstructured component as well. The more organized your child is, the more creative they can become. Yes, those who are disorganized, they're always trying to keep up. They're always trying to catch up. But those who are organized, they have this opportunity, this privilege to be creative, to actually enjoy downtime. It is very, very, very important for our children to have unstructured time. School is structured, bala is structured. Them tending to household responsibilities is also structured. So help them with their structure so that they can also experience unstructured time. So this discipline leads to a software development. We continue. In the Vibhishana Gita, Sri Rama has shared with Sri Vibhishana about two wheels. He's flowing through his chariot, then chariot, armor, weapons. So we're still on the chariot, the two wheels. They are courage and determination. So that's the bottom part of the chariot. Then the top part of the chariot is the two flags. These two flags in our lives are integrity and nobility. Now the middle part of the chariot, thus far, is the three horses. Those three horses are stamina, prioritization, and we just covered discipline. This takes us to the final horse in the middle part of this chariot. And to me, it's the most important, it is the most demanding, and that is Parahita. Parahita, in English, this means empathy. Empathy. Defining this more, can you point to me, with your understanding of Sanskrit, what does para mean? Point to me what para means. You're all thinking about this in a very causal way. You are right. Para means highest. Para also means other. Other. And hita means welfare. So parahita is the welfare of others. Now reflect. What does welfare, what does real welfare look like, feel like? It starts at the thought level. Welfare, others' welfare at the thought level is being concerned about them. I'm concerned about how my niece is doing. I'm concerned about a student in my class. I think about them. But the evolution of this is at the word level. Parahita, or empathy, is comforting another. You're using words to comfort them, saying everything will be okay, or praying for them. But thoughts and words, though powerful, when someone needs help, they need it at the action level. And so concern is to evolve to comfort, which is to evolve to care. Parahita is caring about others at an action level. Before I share more, How many of you would rate yourself as being high when it comes to empathy? You're an empathetic person. Okay. Whoa, almost everyone's hand is up. How many of you feel that your parents would describe you as being empathetic? By a show of hands. Okay, 2/3. How many of you would share your children would describe you as being empathetic? 50%. Okay. That's a high level of integrity. Good for all of you. To be empathetic, because it is a demanding value, as I shared, this fourth horse actually can only be reached when you train through the other three horses. I'll explain. To get to empathy, first you have to be energetic. People who are lazy and tired, they can't be empathetic. That's why the first horse was bala, or stamina. That's physical. This is to evolve to mental, from energetic to enthusiastic. Someone can have a lot of energy, but they're unable to make decisions. They're unable to absorb people's feelings. And so the second horse was viveka, or prioritization. Now, suppose I'm energetic and enthusiastic about what? Partying, making money, buying fancy things. And that's why the third horse was dama, or discipline. It is directing this energy and enthusiasm to helping others. Hence the empathy. I'm rewinding and then forwarding. 2 wheels. Is everyone clear about that? 2 flags. Everyone's clear? 4 horses now. Stamina, prioritization, discipline, and empathy. Empathy is not just a word. It's not just a feeling. It evolves from thought to word to action. It also evolves from being energetic to enthusiastic to empathetic. Okay. How can we cultivate this? What I'm sharing at the adult level also applies to the kid level. Step 1 in gaining this horse so that we can be courageous parents. Step 1 is to be an active listener. Not just a listener, but an active listener. A listener is someone who can hear and process words. An active listener can hear and process words and what's not oral also. They can sense what someone is going through. They can infer what someone is going through. To be an active listener. Can you tell me a Sanskrit word for being an active listener? You know this word. Shravana. Great, great, great. Next, step 1 is to be an active listener. Step 2 is to be an active learner. Learner. Sometimes those who need help, it could be your parents, it could be your coworker, sometimes they want you to problem solve. Sometimes they don't want you to problem solve, correct? You think about your relationship with your parents, and if you're struggling, do you want their advice? Never. You do not want your parents' advice. You just want them to listen. You just want them to be there. You don't want them to give you advice. So an active learner is someone who's figuring out, do I help them with my thoughts or words or actions? Quite often, the active listener who's now engaged in active learning, they're able to help a person in a way that they don't even know they need help with. It's like, suppose I went to a physician with elbow pain, but that physician is able to analyze that I also have high blood pressure, whatever it may be. Correct? To be an active learner. Tell me the Sanskrit word for this. To be an active learner. Same sequence as you're already inferring. Manana, correct, correct. Finally, is to be an active, and I know you're going to dislike the word I'm going to use, active liver. Live-R. It's where you're living for whatever you learned about, which came from what you listened about. That's changing at the action level then. You're living to help someone. You're living for others' welfare. And so what's the Sanskrit word for that? To live what you've learned and listened. Nidhidhyasana, as you're writing. Nidhidhyasana means to comprehensively practice. Somehow we have this meme culture that contemplation is like this. Contemplation is comprehensively practicing. When one starts to live for others, one starts to like this so much, one starts to love this so much, that this becomes their purpose. Offering you one more reflection on how to cultivate empathy. It is through reflection that we can start to redefine what we do and who we are. It is only through reflection. And I share this because our relationship with helping others, it can be much more. It can be much more. I'm going to read to you the inspiration from our workbook. I like it very much, and so I'm reading it to you. As caregivers, it's easy to focus on our immediate family solely. But many people help us raise our children. Thus, living responsibly involves using our resources, time, and effort to serve society, not just our immediate families. That is such a truthful inspiration. And then the related application is great also. As a family, dedicate a specific portion of your resources, effort, and time to serving society. After each contribution, facilitate a conversation about that event and its impact on your family. If you never try being an active listener, learner, liver, it will always be impractical. But once you try, and it's backed with your reflection, you will redefine what it means to be empathetic. You will redefine your purpose. Today on social media, whether it's been posted yet or not, I don't think it has, but I'm going to read to you a really awesome quote that I came across from Vibhishana Chinmaya. All wealth belongs to him alone. Giving is the true enjoyment of wealth. I feel we rarely or never have that reflection on wealth and that redefinition of wealth. It is through giving that wealth serves its purpose. And in our community, we are investing a lot in this reflection, redefinition. This Sunday, we have a workshop on redefining what wealth is. In the happiness series next month, I'll be speaking about redefining what prosperity is. In our mentorship retreat next year, we have an entire day dedicated to redefining what success is. Parahita, or empathy, it is a powerful value. It is a subtle value that requires one being very active in many ways. And my final thought for everyone is lots and lots and lots of people have been empathetic towards us, and it has changed us. And the more you reflect, the more you remember on the empathy that was shown to you, the more naturally you'll be passionate about cultivating this in your own personality. So now the bottom of the chariot is complete. The top of the chariot is complete. The front of the chariot, which are the 4 horses, are complete. Now we're going to start moving towards the middle of the chariot. What a great way to complete the front of the chariot with Parahita.
If you enjoyed what you heard or want to learn more, share this episode with a friend or find us online at facebook.com/cmniagara. For those on the journey of self-development, Chinmaya Mission Niagara provides a community forum for seekers to listen, reflect, and contemplate. This podcast is produced by the Young Adults of Chinmaya Mission, an international nonprofit working to transform individuals through the knowledge of Vedanta. Until next time, inspire, love, be.